motion to approve the agenda?
I so moved.
Second?
I second it.
Moved and seconded to approve the agenda as, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Approve the minutes from last meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
For the minute.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the last meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Payroll, here's one. I owe you one more yet, Chris.
Okay.
Bills to be paid, everything look good, Francis?
Yep.
Any questions for Francis on bills to be paid? Any questions at all? I would entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion, we pay the bills.
Second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to approve the bills to be paid. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. At this time, I would take a motion to open the public hearing on a proposal to borrow money to purchase property.
I move we open the public hearing on the motion to purchase property.
Second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to open the public hearing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Anybody got any questions on the public hearing?
I heard nothing, written or verbal, so. Other than from councilman, I guess.
If there's no other discussion on that, I would take a motion to close the public hearing.
I make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Discuss ordinance 2015-01 and ordinance amending Title 6, Chapter 5, Section 12, Item Number 5 of the 2013 Code of Ordinance, security light rate increase from $4 to $10 per month per light.
If you remember correctly, we had this on our last meeting, but it's changed, so now we have to reread it. So actually what we did at the last meeting is null and void. It doesn't really mean anything.
So this will be the first reading.
So this will be the first reading, and what it will read is customers with security lights shall be charged $10 per month per light. What we did was take out the 175 watts. So in the previous one, we changed it from $4 per month per light to $10 per month per light, but it talked about a 175 watt light, and we didn't think that was a very good idea to put that in there, so we just decided security light. So that's the change that we made between last meeting and this meeting. So now we can, if you guys see fit, we can
Waive the second and third reading.
waive the second and third reading and then finalize it tonight. It'll be effective 10 days from tomorrow if that happens.
So you need to approve the first meeting first?
Yeah, we need to introduce the ordinance and approve the first reading in the first motion.
I so moved.
Second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve ordinance 2015-01, which has had a word change about the security light rate increase from $4 to $10 per month per light. Roll call vote. Rob?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Francis?
Yes.
Albert?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Now I would take a motion to waive the second and the third reading.
I so moved.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to waive the second and third reading of ordinance 2015-01. Roll call vote. Rob?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Francis?
Yes.
Albert?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
So moved. Moving to new business?
Oh.
Oh,
Now we gotta have a motion to finally approve
The ordinance.
the ordinance.
Okay.
I'd make that motion to approve the ordinance 2015
I'll
dash
second.
01.
Been moved and seconded to approve ordinance 2015-01. Roll call vote, Rob?
Yes.
Gary?
Yeah.
Francis?
Yes.
Albert?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
So moved. Clerk's report?
Okay, if you guys look at that first page there, the one thing that I'll point out to you is on the underneath cash and bank there, you can see cover nat gas. Western Iowa Energy, their, I don't know, whoever pays their bill, I guess, was gone for a week at the time we sent it to them. So they didn't get us their payment before the payment came out, so we took $49,000 out of our savings account to cover the automatic withdrawal that we have. And then when they sent us that $49,000, then we transferred it to savings. You can see that up a couple of lines. We transferred that $49,000 back. Road use funds, $78.95. That was for some salaries that we had in March and April, and then the street doctor, that was part of that. So all on that page, unless you guys have some questions. You guys got some questions, make sure you ask.
Nancy's salary?
Nancy's salary is two.
Oh, that's upstairs. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Okay, never mind.
That's two transfers.
Yep.
May ended kind of early. The 18th was our last payday in May, so we got that check. I don't know, the 25th or something of May, and put that in the bank. So, so now we won't have one at all in June, but then we'll start back up in July. So, just the way it happened. So.
Any questions?
No, on that transfer of savings, this will be our last deal, Chris, and then we'll pay that note off, or something that goes in a different.
Well, you know, that's a good point, Gary. We transfer $13,000 to an account that we use to pay off our bonds early, and I think what Gary's asking is, are we going to continue to do that? We're going to continue to transfer that money. We're going to continue to transfer that money, but we're going to use it a little bit different now. We're going to use it to pay off whatever loan we have at the banks.
Right.
So yeah, we're going to continue to do that.
Okay, so this will be the last one this way, then we'll.
Another thing we could talk about, you know, we transfer $12,500 per month to pay our bond payment, our principal payment at the end of the year. That's $150,000 every year. That went from $150,000 last year down to somewhere around $75,000 or $80,000 this next year. So we wouldn't have to transfer that money. $85,000 we'll have to pay next year in total payments. That's interest and everything. So our principal payments are going to be right around 70, 72. So we wouldn't have to transfer all $12,500 into that debt service. But you know, I still think we need to save that into somewhere, and I think we should probably save it into our
Right.
payment
Yeah.
fund.
I think as long as we have the ability, that's a good idea.
Because then here's what I think we need to do. We'll save that into that payment fund, and then we'll use part of that money to pay off the loan at the bank. But then whatever we don't use, we'll just build up, and then after a couple of years, we'll be able to pay for our electric project as we go. We won't have to borrow the money anymore.
Right, that makes sense.
That's what I think we should do with it. As long as we can save it, I think we need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. As
Yeah.
long as
Keep our
we
electric.
continue to transfer it out of the general fund and get it out of there,
Yes.
so it's just in a separate spot.
Yes. Okay,
I agree. Good question, Gary.
continue.
Okay, so you go to the balance sheet, and you look at the only account on there right now that's not up to date is the community center, and that's about it's right at $10,000. That's the balance in that account at the end of May. And I just got that sheet today. So, and also then the community center savings is not at 20,000 anymore. It's about 28,000, 29 roughly, 28 and a half. So those are the only two accounts on there that aren't up to date. Everything else is. But if you'll remember, the last time we saw this, the bottom line down there, total assets was about 1.2 million. Now it's 813,000. So that's what happens when you pay a bond off early. But then we don't have that payment either to worry about. So we'll just continue to build that back up.
The only other comment I would make is the wellness center checking, which is 1144,
About right in the middle.
6759.28. When we get to discussing Noel Cook's thing, I want you to keep that figure in mind.
That's the tennis court repair at the end.
Yeah.
I was talking about. Okay, we'll move down to page 8. Not really anything out of the ordinary on this page, except for a couple of things. The pool revenue obviously is starting back up again. That's about in the middle of the page, so we got a little bit of revenue coming in there. Then if you look at the local option sales tax, for whatever reason, we got 2 payments this last month. We got one on the 1st of May and one on the 29th of May. And I think the one on the 29th of May was most likely for June, so we probably won't get one in June. But that's why you see $9,287. Generally, that's around $4,500, $4,600 that we get for that. So that's the deal there.
We can just keep sending that number, that'd be fine.
I think that'd be great. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't, but I'm not sure we can get them to do that. Next page, page 9. I mean, we paid the police, and there's really nothing on that page. You're going to start probably seeing some. Oh no, that's the next page. This page is pretty much utility bills is all that is. Next page down. Library's pretty regular. They're about right on their target for their budget, so they're doing pretty well. Park, not much going on there. The pool, obviously there's quite a bit going on at the pool. Building, grounds, and maintenance, we paid for the.
What about that coverage? Did you hear anything? I forgot to ask.
I did not hear. Lindsay told me that she called Stan 2 or 3 times, and Rick, I think you even tried to call Stan on that cover, did you
I
not?
talked to him today, but I didn't talk to him about that.
Oh,
Well, when she got a hold of him the last time I talked to her, he said, "You mean you don't have that? You were supposed to have it." So whether he was just blowing smoke,
yeah.
I think probably he was. Either that or he forgot to order it. Now, one of the two.
Well, either way, we don't have it. I know
Yeah,
that. So.
yeah.
Kind of the way I got told. I stopped talking to her. What was it, last Thursday or something? That's
Well, this was just yesterday. What is today?
Today's Monday.
Yeah, I think yesterday we talked about it. It was Friday maybe when she got a hold of him and said that, I think it was.
Well, that building, grounds, and maintenance there, that $8,000, $5,400 of that is the caulk that we did in the pool. And Rick and I have talked several times about that, and he thinks it's working really well. Now, we don't have any water numbers, as far as how much it saved us yet. But at the end of June, we'll certainly know a lot better where that's at. But I mean, you can tell when the water only goes down a little bit every night where it was going down. What'd you tell me, Rick? It was going down a foot every night almost. So then you had to fill it up the next day another foot, and now it's going down an inch or 2.
And we're actually able to heat it now, huh?
Yeah, and I think it's actually working. I talked to a kid today who said the pool was really warm. So
Well, it was, what is it, 79 or 80?
he said 81 today. This kid was over here today.
Yeah.
So
Well, if we could get that covered at night, I'm sure it would be a lot warmer. Wouldn't have to have so much heat
Shut that
too.
valve down, going back out into the pool, I guess.
Yeah,
So the water would stay in there and get heated.
they say that tarp is supposed to add 15 degrees. Now that's the people who's selling it, so it's
Well,
probably about 5.
figure
or-
Even if it
6.
does, even if it's just 5.
Yeah, that's a
pretty
huge
big
deal.
number.
That's a huge deal. You're right,
Saves it
Franny.
at
I
night
agree.
From cooling your top to cooling
Saves us
off.
from heating up the next day.
My
Yeah.
gosh,
Uh,
that's supposed to have been here.
So you go to the next page, page 11, and you just got, you got your regular bills. You got your salary for the community center. You're gonna shut that off. The one thing on this page that I want to point out to you, and this is going to change next month when we do month end. Down there at the bottom where it says principal payment, and it's $20,000, and the interest too. We're gonna transfer that money out of here and transfer that to the debt service account. So all of our GO debt's going to run through the debt service account. So you'll see a transfer out of here where these two numbers are at, but below that where it says transfer out, you're going to see that exact number, and we're going to transfer that out into the debt service. So we're actually going to pay it out of these accounts, but we got to run it through debt service for the auditor. Yeah, I'll explain that a little bit more in July, and so you guys can actually see it. I just want to kind of give you a heads up of what we're going to do. Next page, road use fund. That $28,000 bill that you saw at the beginning, that's going to come out of here, so we're going to be right about $6,000 in this account, but that's fine. We'll just keep building it up till next year, and we'll do the same thing again. So, TIF. At the bottom of that TIF expenditures, you see $45,620.21. That is the transfer out of TIF and back into our general fund of the lots that we purchased down here from Corn Belt. And I talked to our attorney, and they told us that we could just transfer that money out. We didn't have to do a resolution. Last time we had to do a resolution to transfer the money from our electric account to our general fund and then to our TIF fund. But in that resolution, we also said that when we got the money in, we were going to transfer it from TIF right back to our general fund. So that's what we've done. And now, you guys remember me talking about transferring that money in our accounting system, but it didn't transfer in our bank accounts. But now it's right. Now this number matches up with what we have in our bank account, and so now we're right. So that's what we have in our bank account for TIF, $134,373.41. So now, from now on, now forward, everything that we do is correct. And that's kind of what we've been working towards. Debt service. Next time you see this, it's going to look much different. There's going to be a lot of money coming into here and a lot of money going out of here. So the net that you see is probably going to be pretty close to zero, but there's going to be a lot of money changing hands in here. It's just going to be paper, is all it is. Page 15, our utility funds. If you look at our electric fund, it looks pretty bad. But the reason that is because of that $300,000 loan that we paid off. That all came out of the electric fund because it was an electric revenue bond. You see that $86,005. If we didn't pay the bond off, you add the $300,000 back into our electric fund, and we're at $86,000 after we paid our principal and our interest of our bond. So our electric fund is really still in good shape. It's in damn good shape if you really want to know the truth.
Very impressed with the garbage.
And garbage is still above water.
How that happened?
Give it a month.
Yeah.
Quit it, Rick. We're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Now, we aren't saving any money to buy a truck. I mean, certainly, we're $3,000 in the
We'll never get
red.
to the point where we can afford a truck out of the garbage. So.
No, we're not going to do that. We don't want to do that.
You'll never
So,
do that.
any questions on that? We're gonna fix all of those funds at the end of the year. So the sewer, water, and electric are all going to start at zero, and garbage is going to start at zero too. So then we're going to be
Why is the water upside down?
because of the CDBG project.
Oh, okay.
And the sewer's just had a bad couple of years, so.
That's all we'll say about that.
Yep. That's good, Franny.
Good enough. Leave well enough alone.
Electric. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty ugly. But when you pay $377,000 that you normally don't pay every month, and you still
Bound to.
lost $350,000, we still made about $20,000 that month if we didn't make that payment. So that's not bad. Not bad. kinda getting off track here a little bit. We've got, everything ordered for the first round, material wise, except for a couple of box pads. And you haven't gotten any bids back on those. And the total cost of the material is gonna be right around $140,000. But that's enough material to go from Twilight Acres all the way down to the corner,
A lumberyard?
by the lumberyard, and we won't get that done this year.
Not the
So
way-
that'll be
It's gonna be into next year.
that'll be a couple year project. What we're gonna do, unless you guys have something else, you wanna help Albert? Unless, you guys have something else that you wanna do, we're gonna certify as much money as we can for our
That's not
line down here.
Switch on the deal.
Out of that.
That happened a lot.
Well, yeah, cause what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna figure out how much material we need down there, and all of that we're
Now
gonna,
I got
There,
yours.
now
we're gonna
it'll be all right.
certify.
From
His
the
battery
corner
went
on.
dead. His
Right.
battery's going dead.
Yeah, I got light.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna certify at the end of this year for our TIF fund, we're gonna certify whatever material we can down there up to our $85,000. Unless we have a better idea of what we can do with our certification. But
That's pretty good.
that's for you guys to discuss, and we'll talk a little bit more about that.
I don't thought it fit in one.
Okay, so page 17, keep going here. Natural gas fund, pretty good last month. We won't see another $21,000
No,
no
not these upcoming months.
income in our.
Holy moly, it come
month
back where
for-
it was.
It's a miracle, ain't it?
Don't have to get a hammer. Now, where are we at?
17. Right there.
Any questions for Chris so far?
Natural gas, Albert.
Yeah, that's where I was.
We had a
going.
21,000.
I was one page ahead of you.
$21,000 income in the month of May, and a lot of that comes from April. I mean, some of it even from March. So
Yeah, we went from using natural gas to kick the air conditioner
to
on.
nothing.
Yeah, no
Yeah, you wait till next month, and the natural gas it'll be so ridiculously low.
Low.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be all WIE now from now on. You know, in the summertime.
Electrical.
Well, you can turn the hot water heater off in the summer now too, so that gets back.
Takes a cold shower. I think is what that meant. Hell, I don't
Probably
know.
needs one.
Thank you very much.
Water fund, it actually looks pretty good, except for the principal and interest payment that we had to make, and that's the way that goes. We'll start making money in that account here pretty soon. And sewer. I mean, if you really look at sewer, we're $21,000 in the hole, but we've done $26,000 worth of capital projects and $7,200 worth of contractual services. That's $32,000 a year that we don't usually spend. So, yes, planning would be a good thing, but we aren't to that position yet. So.
Yeah, but you want to remember, that's getting pretty old, a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
That's
well, you can almost
too.
figure this about a number that you're probably gonna spend on sewer every year. just
Because,
because
Takes so much.
Our system is, it's just, it's at its end.
it's old.
It's old. It's like some of us.
We're not the only city going through pains like this.
No.
No, we're not, but that doesn't really make it feel any better. I mean,
No.
we still have to do it. So,
Overall, it's could be worse.
so then we're still on track to change our garbage fund at the end of next month. The $82,000 that we're in the hole, we're gonna change that to zero. And actually, we've never had an account down at the bank where our proprietary money's at, but I would like to get to that because it's very difficult for me to be able to figure out where our proprietary money is when I do our yearly reporting to the state. So I would like to get to that. I know it's not it's not easy. You can't just take the money and say, oh, here it is. because some of that money's in our cemetery fund that we can't ever touch.
Yeah, get
So
this out.
it's gonna be a little bit of a transition, and we're gonna have to work with the auditor, we're gonna have to work with the state on that, let them know what we're gonna do.
Do we have to create a new account like we did before, Chris?
Yeah, well, we probably will have to have a new account on here. We've got a couple of accounts down at the bank right now that are closed, that we had open, that we could just reopen. But we can't do anything like that unless we pass a resolution here, so you guys will know about it before we do it. I just, I kind of been thinking about that a little bit lately, and so I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about it. That's all I've got for the clerk's report,
Any other discussion?
unless you guys have questions.
Any questions for Chris on the clerk's report?
I'd make a motion, we approve the clerk's report.
Second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept the clerk's report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Discuss approve ordinance 2015-02, an ordinance amending the Title 6, Chapter 9, Section 2 of 2013 Wall Lake Code of Ordinances, discharge of a sump pump. You want to read this? So we've got a reading, Chris? or-
Yeah, I do. The only thing that's changed, there's quite a bit of talk in here, but the thing that's changed is a permanent installation shall be one which provides for year-round discharge capability either to the outside of the dwelling, building, or structure, or is connected to a storm sewer. That used to say, or runs to the gutter. I took that out. I don't think we want to say that anymore. We're going through a little bit of issue right now. So I took that out and I changed it. That said water cannot discharge on the street except during rainfall. So if they have it to the street, they can turn it on while it's raining. We don't want them to turn it on while it's not raining. Water that discharges to the street when it is not raining shall be corrected at the expense of the property owner. Within the home or business, the sump pump discharge pipe shall consist of a rigid discharge line without valves or quick connectors that would alter the path of discharge, which means we don't want them to be able to unhook it and put it down their sanitary sewer, and that's always been in there. So that's what's changed, is we want them to run it to somewhere other than the street while it's not raining. If it's raining, they can run it on the street. And that's kind of what this says. If you guys think it says something other than that, or you would like to change the wording, I'm completely fine with that. If you don't, we can go ahead and do the same thing we did with the other one. We can read it first time, we can read it again next time. It's completely up to you guys.
Yeah, but if it's raining and then they run it to the street, then they're gonna have to have some valve somewhere to shut it off so it don't run to the street. So I don't even think that should even be in there.
What this says though, within the home or business, we don't want a valve or a quick coupler. Outside, doesn't make any difference to
Yeah.
us.
I
We don't
know,
care then.
but if they're, okay, all right, but I just,
Explain it, Albert.
Yeah, if you don't like it, tell us what you don't like, we can change
well,
it.
I don't think you should have it even running to the street when it's raining, because
Well, the
Then-
water's going down there anyway.
that's right, but then they're gonna have to go switch something if they
Well-
want it to run to the street. And then when it quits raining, then they're gonna have to go switch it back. Now, how many of them's gonna do
Well, one
that?
of them won't do it, they just run someplace else in.
Can I voice my opinion on it? We got about 10 of them now that do that right now.
They do.
We have no problem with
Okay, well, that's
They run it out
fine.
in the backyard, or they run it
And I don't
someplace
think
else.
that they do it every time it rains.
it. No, just when they have to.
I
When
understand
it's
they do
a-
it when they have to.
When it's a
but-
big rain, then they'll switch it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's,
Yeah.
if you've got some doing it, fine.
Well, there's a lot of them running out
I
here.
think the thing that we need to worry about though, Albert, is that we have the ability to make them change it through this.
Yeah,
You know, if,
instead of letting it run to the street.
yeah,
Well,
if they,
it's not really-
if they want it to run on the street while it's raining, that's fine. If they forget to change it, then we have the ability to make them change it through
Okay.
this. Right now, the way ours reads, we don't have that ability,
Yeah,
so.
because I know mine don't even get close to the street, so.
You don't have no trouble. There you go.
Well, you gotta have
Right,
a,
a
you
place
gotta have a
to,
place where it runs off.
Yeah.
not back into the house,
Not
not back into the house, we
Yeah,
hope
you
not.
gotta
I
get
put
it away.
mine over the neighbor.
Yeah.
Let them worry about it, right?
Put mine in Newsman's window.
Any more discussion?
No.
I'd make a motion, we approve ordinance 2015-02.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded to approve ordinance 2015-02. Roll call vote. Rob?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Franny?
Yes.
Albert?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to waive the second and third reading?
Ask them. I really, it doesn't make any difference to me at all on this one. We can, or we can wait and read
Well,
it
we,
again.
we discussed this a number of times.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
let's
we should go ahead.
Just go ahead and waive it. I make
That's
a
fine.
motion, we waive second and third reading.
Good
Second.
job, Albert.
I'd second that.
Moved and seconded to waive the second and third reading of ordinance 2015-02. Roll call. Rob?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Francis?
Yes.
Albert?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Okay, that's taken care of.
Now we gotta finally approve it again.
That's right, that's right. I would accept a motion for final approval.
I'd make that motion.
I'd second that.
Motion has been made for final approval of resolution 2015-02. Roll call vote. Rob?
Yes.
Gary?
Yeah.
Francis?
Yes.
Albert?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
You're gonna learn how to cut and paste, Lynn. Lots of roll call votes.
I'm wondering, Rob hasn't said anything to me yet tonight.
As long as you
He
keep
likes
rolling- As long as you keep rolling along.
He likes it.
Discuss and approve resolution 2015-11, a resolution allowing the city of Wall Lake to borrow money to purchase certain property.
Yeah, so this we'll probably wanna have a little bit of discussion on. This is, what we had the public hearing on. We've got the opportunity to purchase some property here in town. To do that, we can use what money we have in our TIF fund, our TIF account, and that will get us back to where we probably should be with our TIF fund. And I know there's some differing of opinion, so let's have some discussion on this.
Well, that was in our plan, that we could use part of that money
Right,
to purchase
it
property.
is.
It was discussed, I know that, that's where we were gonna take that money from, is the TIF account.
Yeah.
Well, we got a chance of losing it, so we better use it.
That's the thing, Albert. We could lose this $70,000 or not lose it necessarily, but to have to send it back
Give
to the
it back.
county.
Yeah.
And you know, if we do that, you know, it's not gonna kill us. But I think this is a good opportunity. We've been trying to buy property for commercial property for a long time, and we haven't had the ability to do that. We just haven't had it available. So now we have the ability to do that. And actually, if you really think about it, it's not gonna cost us anything. We have the money there, and we can do it. We can do it legally, and then our TIF account really is gonna be, you know, back to where it should be.
And, you know, from being sitting with the Wall Lake Industrial Corp too, they feel that this is a good thing, and it's one of the things that we've discussed for about 10 years now, is when it comes right to this moment right here, is the city council going to support the Wall Lake Industrial Corp or not? The TIF money was created to do some economic development. And we've been doing some economic development through infrastructure, but we haven't ever been able to purchase much for land. We did get this land over here.
Yeah.
And we're gonna purchase this land over here, hopefully, you know, that's Wall Lake Industrial Corp does feel it's a good move to do so. And they would ask the support of the city council from, in that general context, because they really, would like to see the support of the city council. And, you know, again, I say, it's kind of boiled down to, are we gonna support them or not, you know? And if they can, then they need to do some dealing behind, you know.
I would like to see some interest there, you know,
True.
from somewhere, I guess.
And I think one of the things to just kind of couple off of what Rob is saying is, you know, the Commercial Industrial Corporation was formed to do this type of work, to go out and find, you know, to sort of work together with the economic development, go out and find a business or give a business the opportunity to come to town. We've had some people call and ask about the hayloft. You know, if if they could find a buyer, is there somebody interested in helping that buyer get started? And the commercial industrial corporation would be that person or that entity that would be interested in that, and would help them. And so that's kind of what we're asking, we're asking the city council to say yes to this, so the commercial industrial corporation can do the work that they've been asked to do. They haven't been able to do that for 10 years, and it's been pretty frustrating, if you ask some of those guys.
Look how many
And
turn.
in your light, Ron, yes, I do. I would love to come present something to you. But at that point, we've
No, I understand.
already done some discussing with someone, and we can't promise them anything if we don't have the approval of the city council. So it is somewhat of a catch-22.
Yeah, it is.
And that's where we, the industrial corp would like to see the city council get behind them in this. I don't think that they've really pushed the limits too far on this thus far.
Look
I
how
mean,
many.
we would like to find a guy that's got 40 acres of land that's not too far from town that we could buy and trade somebody for 40 acres right on the north end or something, but we just can't find that guy.
They're around.
Oh, I know, there's people that own just 40-acre plots of land, and we just can't ever find any to buy.
Gus.
Somebody's
That's what Gus wants
talking
to do.
about Gary.
Gus would trade us if he could find 40 acres that was comparable.
I got some.
Okay.
I'd trade.
Even up.
So,
Oh, he
40
wants
for
something
40.
to boot.
I'd trade
Yeah.
40 for 40.
Well, I know you'd trade. What we're saying is we'd like to buy some so we have some to trade, and that's what we can't find is that person to sell that land. And we're landlocked here with what we have in town, and we have the opportunity for these two houses and these lots all at the same time.
I've sat on this, I haven't been on, but I was on it at one time, this committee. And it's very frustrating when people come and talk to you about stuff, and all you can do is basically shrug your shoulders and says, I'll
Can't
see
help
what I
it.
can do.
We don't have.
I want to
That's
put a
not what they
business,
want to hear.
I want
I'll
to
see
put a
what I can
business
do.
in town.
Yeah,
Can't
I'll
help
see
it.
what I can do.
Yeah.
Now we give them the opportunity to say, we've got some land, here you go, let's,
Yeah, work with us.
How many
Yes.
people have we turned away because
We had
we didn't have
any
land?
luck so far, Rob, on this project?
We are having discussions.
That's a good
And
sign.
we're actually going to have another meeting tomorrow with the TIF people, and so
So, what do we need to do then? Make a motion to go ahead with this?
just, you need to make a motion to approve the resolution. That's all you need to do.
I make a motion to approve the resolution then.
I'll say-
2015-11.
And I'll say,
1511.
Been moved and seconded to approve resolution 2015-11, allowing the city of Wall Lake to borrow money to purchase certain property. Roll call, Rob,
yes.
Gary,
Yeah.
Francis,
Yes.
Albert,
Yes.
Ron.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
thank you very much.
Discuss and approve cigarette license at the country store up here, Kimmy's, is that how you pronounce it?
I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it or
Maybe
not.
that is.
I'd make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the cigarette license for Kimmy's Country Store. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Discuss and approve purchase of Cindy Barnes house tax sale.
Okay, so we've talked about this a couple of times, and not so much talked about it in here, but more behind the scenes. And so I've called Charlie and Sharon and asked them to discuss what could happen with the house. The city of Wall Lake is not in the business of being a realtor, so we don't necessarily want to buy the house and tear it down. Now, if we can keep somebody from coming into town and trashing it, then we would do that. But Charlie and Sharon have an interest in the house, obviously. So I've asked them. I've talked to them a couple of times, and what we need to do is we need to get Warren and Charlie and Sharon and Cheryl, if that's what we need to do. We need to get those four people together with me and have some more discussion on what needs to happen. Because it's not completely clear. I was always under the understanding that if you didn't pay your taxes, somebody else paid your taxes for a certain amount of time, they got the house. Well, that's not exactly 100% true. You have to go through some legal stuff, and Warren and I talked a little bit about it. You have to do some publications, and you have to give them 90 days, and so what we need to do is we need to talk to Warren and figure out exactly what we need to do, because I think Charlie and Sharon actually have an interest in what happens at that property, and, you know, I think we should give them the opportunity to see, you know, if they wanna own it, I think they should own it. If they don't, then I think we need to give them that opportunity to say either yes or no. And that's why they're here tonight, because they wanted to see what was gonna happen. I was talking to them before the meeting, and I think what we need to do as a council is we need to say, I mean, we need to have a discussion, whether or not you guys wanna do this, if you wanna buy the house. But what we need to do is we need to give them the opportunity to buy it first. That's my opinion. You know, you guys discuss and see what your opinion is. And then if Charlie and Sharon have any questions for us.
I was gonna say, you have any opening comments you wanna make to the council?
Well, that's what Chris is saying, I think we should contact the lawyer and get this thing started, you know, and see what happens. You know, because the way I understand it right now, there's a bunch of mechanic liens on the house, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't wanna buy the house if I gotta pay all back the mechanic liens.
And see, that's a question that I can't answer for Charlie. I don't know if you have to pay the
So
mechanic
this
liens.
is what I'm
I don't
saying.
think you do, but I don't know.
Who's gonna pay the liens back then, if,
I don't know. See, that's what we, I mean, it's not gonna do us any good to sit here and say who's gonna do it or what are we gonna do. That's what we need to sit down and ask Warren.
Yes.
well, you
Ask-
get warned some night and you can come down,
Yeah.
but, you know, we can't pay the mechanic liens off the house.
No, and you know what? I don't think anybody wants to do that.
I
You know?
think whoever this guy is that pays the taxes, I think he should be there at the same time.
But, you know, I mean, he doesn't really figure into it at all. He doesn't want anything to do with it.
Why?
Yeah, he bought it, but he don't wanna do with it, see, so that's what you're.
He wants to turn it over.
See?
He wants to turn it over to somebody else, and really all he has to do is sign it over to somebody else, and then it's just like they paid the taxes.
What about the other person that paid taxes on it? They say there's some other guy that,
There should be only one person.
Should be only one that paid it.
there's two.
What's this,
Two
what's this
taxes
guy
out
from
there, one
Denison,
paid one,
Allen,
one paid the
somebody?
other.
Alan Henderson, yeah.
And,
They said something about a dare,
and
is what they gave me at the courthouse.
I don't know what that is.
Well, it sounds like we need to just, a lawyer going on this, and just
Well, we,
find all the legals.
right.
But as a city, I don't think we wanna be involved
No,
in.
we don't wanna get involved.
No, we wanna see it go to the right spot, but we don't wanna be involved in owning it.
I
We'd
agree
like
with
to
that,
help
Brian.
him,
Yes.
but we don't wanna get in and buy that house, too bad. We
well,
sure have.
this part I'm understanding, you know, you guys stuff out there, but idea, I think right now, we're into a ball, and nobody knows what's going on. I think we need to confront with a lawyer, and stuff like that to be done with, you know.
So,
I
yeah,
think this guy, I know this guy's paid taxes, but I think he should be present at the same time with us. To figure out if we're gonna pay his back, the back taxes to get
See,
the house back or what. you
and
know.
if you pay the tax, if you guys decide to pay the taxes, you don't pay him. You pay the county.
Right,
Then the
right,
county does
You will have the
whatever
house
they do.
back.
right,
They said we won't because we've still got Jeff's name on that house.
yeah.
But see, that, and, okay, that's what we don't know, so that's what we
Yeah.
have to get together. I just don't wanna waste a lot of time
No.
saying, we need to do this or we need to do
I
that.
think we need to
That
confront with
doesn't
the
do
lawyer
any
as far
good.
as I'm
So,
concerned.
yeah,
And
let's,
get together and see what the lawyer tells us what to do and stuff like that there, and then go from there.
so then if that's what the council wants to do, then we really don't have to take any action at all tonight.
No, that's not.
what I'd like to see is the best outcome for you guys.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know it's not gonna be good, but I mean, the best outcome that you can get and something that will at least
Because
satisfy
we
you.
still have the loan at the bank that I'm paying
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
So you got the key interest in it.
Yeah, but like you said, Jeff's
The bank
name's
still
still
got
on
the
it.
house.
Just
Yeah,
need-
but
just
once
Jeff's
that's
house.
paid, you have it. If you pay them taxes, give it.
We don't know where he's
Yep.
at, there's a
Yeah.
problem there.
As long as his name's on there, he's got a right to it until you get him to sign off. I don't
We
think
cannot
there's
But
even
much.
his
sign
name,
out.
I think his name is through the courthouse, but it's not through the bank yet.
No, it's just on the,
After you do so many legal notices, I did this one time, if
Yeah.
he doesn't respond to it, then
And as far as I'm concerned,
Right.
we haven't,
I
we haven't
don't know.
We're just
raised
talking
it.
about nothing.
Luke's
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
go through to it.
We're just,
It takes-
Yeah, we're spinning our wheels here, getting,
Yeah, I
we're-
know.
we're
getting
gonna-
to see,
I
you know,
think we need to confront with the lawyer.
Yep.
the city council's not here to
No.
screw you guys, that's not why we're here, we're here to get you the best
we didn't know
possible.
anything like this was going on until the other day.
Okay,
They'll
have,
call at work about it.
I'm gonna have Chris set up a meeting with Warren, and then he will contact you folks. Or you might wanna contact Chris and say, Chris, this is the best time for us to meet.
Well, we can make it any night, you know.
Yeah, any night, preferably not during the daytime, possibly if we can help it, you know.
Well, you may have to with Warren, or whoever the lawyer you
I
get.
don't know, Warren's over there a lot of times.
Yeah, but I mean, you never know, yeah.
Okay,
Night,
work with
Saturday,
you.
or Sunday, wherever Warren wants to come down, you know, we don't care.
We'll work with you on it.
that work with you folks? Does that work with you folks? Okay.
Thank you.
City of Wallach is not gonna take any precedence as of right now
When
until.
does this guy want to know what's going on?
He wanted to know back in May. He was pretty hot back in May, so.
Well, he must
But-
have been to the courthouse too, the way they talk.
Oh, he's talked to them several times, yeah. But I'll call him tomorrow and tell him where we're at.
Yeah, because
So-
I think as far as I'm concerned, you know, like I said,
We don't know what we're doing, you know.
I think he needs to be in with us when we talk to Warren Bush at the same time. That's what I think too, you know. because
People
We
buy
can-
back
He's one of
taxes,
the
they
big
give
back
about
taxes
7%
for
of
us.
taxes, so then if you pay it off, they
Same
get
time
that
with
interest.
Come up if he
Well,
wants
if
to.
you pay back
He might,
taxes,
I don't know.
on the house now.
Yeah,
That's why they do that.
yeah, right.
They buy that back taxes, so then they get interest.
They get
If
interest
somebody
on
pays it
that.
off, they'll get the interest, 7% or whatever they get, whatever that number is.
They're using it for an
And they
investment.
use it for, and then, it's just
You
like
get
a
more out
savings
of that
account.
anywhere
They're-
else.
Ain't gonna get anywhere else.
No, that's right, that's
Yeah,
all
so
I
that's
do.
why they buy that,
That's why they
everybody, these guys will do that all the time at the courthouse, if somebody don't pay the taxes, they'll buy them because they think they can make some money.
Okay, we're gonna move on,
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
Chris will be in contact with you,
okay,
alrighty?
you bet.
Discuss and approve sidewalk energy efficient program, Chris?
Yeah, we haven't actually talked about the sidewalk program yet this year, and if you guys look at the page 40 through 41, 2 maybe, I don't know, 41.
CDBG is 42.
Over the last 3 years, 2012 was $2,000, 2013 was $1,500, and 2014 was $500. That's what we've spent on the sidewalk program. Like I've talked before in public forums, I would like to see us cut that in half and give $2,000 to the sidewalk program and $2,000 to an energy efficiency program, whatever that program looks like. Now I know the school is very interested in changing some lights out, and if I remember right, they're going to change out $3,200 worth of lights, 20 lights maybe. It's not a lot of lights, 30 lights, something like that. And so I don't know how our program would look or what it would look like, but I mean we can't give them the whole $2,000. You know, we need to write
No,
some
you
kind
gotta
of
spread
a.
that out somehow.
Well, there's got to be some kind of stipulation there. You know, depending on what you're doing, we give you so much money, and
You wanna
I did see-
I can work with IAMU on that to find
you wanna
out.
explain to the council that we're in Gary's on a committee, you're on the committee, I'm on a committee. There's that energy efficient guy that's come up and he's checking several of our
Yeah, we've talked.
buildings and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah, and so we've talked about that before. The city energy management program, that's actually underway, and we've got an engineer who comes up here and works with our buildings and looks at stuff and gives us opportunities to change some things and
make it
save
better
money.
energy efficient, yeah.
Save money over the years, and so we this didn't really spawn out of that. It kind of did. I mean, we've had the I don't know what the word is, onus that we should have an energy efficiency program. We've been in something like that for years. We haven't really done much with it. We used to give away light
Can
bulbs.
we use that for our own cities lights?
Well, we kind of had somewhat when we did the natural gas, and we did $100 dollars towards
Right.
a furnace or water. I mean, that's somewhat of an energy.
Sure it
so
is. Yeah.
We haven't been doing nothing at all. But
No, you're right, Franny. We haven't been doing nothing at all, but we haven't done a lot with
yeah, we haven't
electric.
done anything electric though.
Right, we haven't done a lot with the electric
Well,
over the
we're gonna
past
do
few
something
years.
in our new line, we're gonna start putting some lights in there. And we were talking about doing something over here when we start the new line coming down, or changing some lighting out there.
Yeah, street
Is
lighting.
that street
Yeah.
lighting, that was kind of in the project?
Yeah. So I don't know, I guess I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this and see what you think about taking the $4,000 that we used to have put aside for the sidewalk program and splitting that in half. Keeping $2,000 on the sidewalk program and then making an energy efficiency program and
I think it's a good deal.
giving that a couple
Chris,
$1,000
hours are
too.
people putting sidewalks in. I see somebody running sidewalks the other day and putting a new sidewalk in up here someplace.
Honestly, this
Who is
year,
that?
Hey, maybe we could use it up to the park.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, the park wouldn't be all bad.
I bet Jamie would be happy with that.
I'm sorry.
I bet you wouldn't.
Sure,
It
just,
won't be enough.
Oh, we put,
That won't go very far
That
up there.
won't go
no,
very
but somebody
far.
else is running a big sidewalk someplace. I don't know how many feet, but I don't know who that is.
One of
I
those.
see that.
Yeah.
Someplace in town, putting sidewalk in, so. But I don't think we never used 2,000 ever, have we?
No, we have not.
We used, what's the most we used?
2012, we used $1,960.
First year we come out with it, wasn't
Isn't that the year that you put yours in?
Well, you may see
Yeah.
some up in Catherine Myers.
And that was,
They may put some sidewalk back in there.
you know, that
so
was-
there's something going there.
That was the majority of it, and that was right at the end of the year. Me and Jason and Marty, hell, that was $1,500 of the $1,900 that we spent that year. That
That's
was
where
in-
it all went.
That was in November.
Sure. And the kids got a sidewalk to walk on.
We did his driveway too.
Yeah.
No, there's some being run and, you know, Catherine Myers may run some, so we'll use the bike. We could use that 2,000 this year, but we think we got enough to split that.
Well, I make a motion, we cut it in half if you guys, if you need something like that to do it.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
I'd second that motion.
2,000 for the sidewalk and 2,000 for some electrical
When we're
project.
running short, we can always add something to it.
Take out favors.
Yeah.
And then what I'll do with that is I will work with IMU and I will figure out what our energy efficiency program looks like. So then we can, you know, I know the school is gonna be pretty hot to use it, so we'll.
Yeah, it to be a percentage of
I
something
think
we
we gotta
spend up
watch
to a
that.
certain amount.
Certain percent. I mean, how you gonna gear that?
Per light,
Yeah.
per whatever they're gonna do, I think, you know, maybe.
I got a motion, did I get a second?
Yeah, Franny seconded.
Randy seconded.
Moved and seconded to approve a sidewalk energy efficient program for the city of Wall Lake for $2,000 per account. Is that okay with that, Chris?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Discuss total cost CDBG water supply project.
You gotta put the other 2,000 in there for some electrical too.
He said each
Each.
account.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, my hearing's going, I know.
Huh?
What'd you say?
It's not the first time to go.
No, that's right.
Okay, so this is something that that you guys asked for a couple of months ago, and we finally got the last payment out, and then you know, I really started digging into it. And I think if you remember, and some of you aren't going to remember because you weren't here, Ron and Albert for sure weren't here when we started this, and I'm not even
What
sure
was the
Gary
bid
was.
about starting?
The CDBG
Yeah,
project,
well,
the water
I was
supply
thinking about
project.
that.
What was the
Oh, when
original
did-
bid?
The original bid? See, there really wasn't an original bid. The engineer put together an estimate of $640,000. That was his original estimate. The bids, Schmidt Construction bid was $285,000. King Construction was $281,000. So those two were the bids. Now, engineers put together an estimate, but that doesn't always really mean anything. So, what if you'll remember, Sunquist Engineering's original price was $68,000, not to exceed $68,000. It got to the point where it got to be stretched out a little bit, so they came back and asked us for an extra $12,000, up to $80,000, and you can see that they used the majority of it. And actually, they used it all. It just isn't. It didn't show up like that in our accounting system. So then, if you look at Schmidt Construction, they had I think it was $285,000 was their original bid. They had a $19,000 change order, and the reason they had that was they had I think there was 8 or 9 valves, not valves, water meters that were bigger than 3/4 inch. We had a couple of 2-inch, we had one 4-inch, several 1-inch meters, and those are a lot more expensive than the 5/8 inch meters that are in there. So that was a $20,000 increase, and I think I wrote this down. Oh, I didn't write it
What
down.
page you on?
42.
I'm on page
42.
42 and 43.
Right, okay, that's what.
And the King Construction, start there, or we'll go there. King Construction's original bid was $280,281. And if you'll remember, they had one change order of $15,000 when they ran into that contaminated dirt that we had to haul to Carroll. And then they had a couple other change orders. One of them was the
Pipe.
fire hydrant.
Pipe
But
is
then
a lot.
that was $10,000 for the fire.
Well, and that was something that I was going to say here in just a second, Albert, because I know we kind of dwelled on the $640,000 that of the original estimate that we thought, and if you remember, we were going to run the well about 300 feet with our raw water pipe. Well, 300 feet of raw water pipe is about $10,000. Well, we ended up running it 1,700 feet from there all the way down, and that was $64,000 just to run the pipe, and then to sleeve it underneath the railroad was another $15,000. So instead of a $10,000 pipe, we had about an $85,000 pipe. So that was a big
Outlay.
that was a big deal of why it was increased, by a lot.
But at least it's done.
So we're run by 100,000 roughly,
Well, Gary, yeah, I mean,
25.
give or take, from where we originally started.
right from the original
Where we was well out there.
the original estimate that the engineer did were $125,000 over that, right?
That's what I thought.
But if you look at the original estimates from King Construction and Schmidt Construction, and even the engineer,
We were right on target.
we were pretty damn close.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and then Jensen Well, I put those guys in here. We assumed that if we dug a test well, we'd find water and we'd be able to use that hole and we wouldn't have to dig any more test wells. Well, that didn't turn out for us. We ended up digging 3 or 4 test wells, and each one of those were fairly expensive. So that was a chunk of money that we didn't really consider either.
That project started, 3.5 years ago, Rob?
Longer than that.
I
Started
hope
6 years
this
ago.
well
I'm
lasts
gonna
my
tell you,
lifetime.
6 years ago, we had MSA in here.
Yeah, and if
They
you really
started
want to
talking-
start there,
and they got their book out, and they had a whole book printed up and everything, and this project was gonna cost about $850,000.
870 actually.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So, then that's when we said, no, that's not gonna happen. But we got some valuable information out of them, and we did pay them $25,000 to do the study. But we actually got a map of our water system out of them, or, a good understanding of our water system out of them. And
Yeah, we did a little map.
and it did allow us to go into this. So, I think we got our $25,000 worth out of them, and they were just way too high. So, they were still higher than what this
We left
is.
$100,000 not redoing the complete electric up there. That probably helps us a little bit, otherwise we'd been probably in that other level.
Oh yeah, we've been way
We
over
cut
that.
backed off on that deal.
So I have the original estimate right here in front of me, and it's from Joe Ruschenberg, and it adds up to $640,000 roughly. But then some of the things I talked about, $80,000 raw water line, that's $65,000 more than he estimated it. The new well, he estimated at $60,000, and that actually was $75,000, so that's an extra $15,000. Now the good thing about the well is we're going to get all that money back in TIF money starting next December.
Yeah.
So we'll
And
get that
the
back.
government paid up part of this. Chris, what part did
The government gave us $300,000.
So we owe about 300, yeah, we're in that 300.
We got a $350,000 bond
Right, so that's where we're at.
to
That's what I
pay
thought.
this off, or to pay our part of it off. And then you got change order number 1 and change order number 2, what I talked about before with King Construction and Schmidt Construction. One was $20,000 and one was $15,000. So if you add all of those up, you're about $125,000 over the original estimate, which is right where we're at.
Right, 765.
Yeah, so that's where we went over, you know, when somebody asks, what was the cost and why did we go so far over? It was the raw water line, the actual well, the engineering was a little high, and then we had those 2 change orders for the dirt and for the extra meters.
One little deal that Joe goofed up on, we actually should just have him send that check back.
See, and that's
Down there where he didn't run the wire from one deal
That's
to
the-
the other, and then we turned around and had to drill a hole and put a pipe,
that's the problem with engineering.
that's one of them
you know.
deals, yeah, then they could say, well,
You gotta hire an engineer because
supposed
they
to
know
know
everything, but if they make a mistake, then we still have to pay for it.
yeah, that was about
So-
$10,000-$15,000 little wire mistake there, or whatever.
Plus the fire hydrant, we didn't know about the fire hydrant either.
Yeah, that was 10,000.
But the other side of it is that we now have raw water access in a place where we're never gonna run out of water.
And in all actuality,
Oh,
We run out of water.
Plus, we got another well down there that if we.
Yeah, the nice part,
if
we can go
lose
another
the water-
100 some feet away from there, run another well, and
Dig another well.
tap it right off the same line.
That's your, Franny, you know how they are. You can't
in all
go too close.
actuality, we borrowed that money, that $350,000 bond that we borrowed. Right now, we're paying 0.85% interest on it until the year 16, and then it goes all the way up to 1.2%.
Yeah, that's-
So
we can't
we're not
afford
gonna
to
pay that bond off early.
No.
I mean, it gets up to 1.9%. That's the
Yeah.
And then
most interest that we have to
The
pay.
other loan that we have,
Yeah,
for the water meters.
the SRF loan. That's
2%
always
for 10 years.
2%.
One of the big things,
So-
we're putting some away all the time, every year, every month for that, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's part of that
That's part of
12,000.
our savings deal.
Yeah.
You don't need a motion or anything.
No, this is something that the guys asked for a
This is
couple of months ago.
Total discussion.
No, we're done, but you know,
Let's, don't hurt to look it over.
we have another well down at the south end of that actually we could run a line to this if we had to,
Definitely.
you know? We've already got that well dug and working, and all we'd have to do is run the line,
Run a
and
line.
then we're tapped into the other end of the.
Discuss and approve spending $3,000 on tennis court repair.
And, you know, we've talked a little bit about this, and I think it was at the last meeting. I'm not sure it was on the last meeting, was it? I know.
We got discussed on 2 meetings now. So.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about it at the last meeting, and what we kind of discussed. I'm not sure we made a motion, but we kind of discussed, you know, matching dollar for dollar. Well, Noel wasn't terribly excited about that, but then Albert and I started looking a little bit closer at this whole thing. That court up there, if we would tear the whole thing out and put concrete in there, it would cost about $15,000. So if we did half of it, it cost about $7,500. Now, to me, it's a hell of a lot better to put concrete in there for $7,500 than to spend $4,500 on a Band-Aid.
You gotta paint it again too, you still gotta repaint that, right? That's all gotta be painted when you get done with the cement.
This was done like 8 years ago.
You just can't run the cement without marking it all out and painting it, so I don't know.
You're only gonna have 1 court. You ain't gonna have 2 courts.
Well, I don't know what that costs either, Gary.
Well, you know what I'm saying, I mean, right now, it's just to
Oh,
fill
yeah,
the cracks and
that-
paint it,
that's
they want
just a-
If
$4,500.
he
Right.
wants
But
that,
what I'm saying is that if you spend this $4,500, in another 4 or 5 years, you're gonna have to do
you're
the
gonna
same
have to
thing.
redo it again.
Yep.
So you're gonna be up to 9,000, and we've already spent some money on it doing it. You know, so I mean, I
Yes,
just
it looks like you could just lay the cement right on top if you reroute it right. That's
I
what
don't
they're doing,
think so.
that's
I
all the
wouldn't
county,
do
that's
that.
what they're
No.
doing. They're laying cement right on top of cement.
I wouldn't do that.
Well, they're doing
But-
it all on the roads, the main roads.
That's
They got a little bit of better sub base under that than we got.
Yeah,
Well-
yeah.
As long as you
That's
got
the
all
slope,
the wires
Yeah.
in there, Franny,
That just
to hold it
floats.
together.
and it was put
It'd
in
be like a floating slab, see?
1976.
Well, it will until.
Yeah, that's a.
Well, it's gonna crack, if you take this out and put it
Because
back, you're gonna have the same thing, it's gonna be
cost
floating
us
slab.
only do one, don't
It
do
don't matter
two.
which way you look at it.
That's
Yeah.
the way
It's gonna
I-
do whatever underneath is gonna do. That's what the cement's gonna do.
Now I haven't
Either one's
talked.
gonna lift.
I haven't talked to Noel at all about that. Albert and I were talking about it the other day, and he brought up something about concrete and how big it was, and you know, hell, for $7,500 to have a new concrete slab, you know, that seems to me to be a lot better deal than to spend $4,500 on something that you're gonna have to do again in
5 years
5
before.
years.
Well, you better check to see what the paint costs and all that put together, make sure you get your numbers right.
I wouldn't think paint should be.
Well, that's what they're doing now, is filling cracks and painting, and they want 4,500. That's what they say, they're gonna just come out and seal the cracks, fill the cracks and paint it, that's what their estimate is, about 4,500.
Yeah, I know.
So we better have the numbers down before you go.
Oh,
I don't know where they get 4,500 either.
Why can't we just paint lines? I mean, we want to paint green or whatever. I mean, we want.
I don't know why we can't paint it.
that's what, I don't understand
That's what
that.
I meant, this is.
Hell, we got
Yeah.
a bunch of high school kids we hire, we
My
just set them up with.
Now maybe the lines won't be straight, but
Yeah, but you know what? That might be to the advantage of.
but yeah, I mean it's.
Don't you
We
have-
don't need green paint up there. You know, just white lines where the.
I can give them straight.
Friend, they're talking
Snap.
pickleball.
I got a
Line.
string, I got
What?
Pickleball.
Well, I think that when we do these kind of things, when we actually ask somebody that does it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should ask
Get
somebody
involved
if you
with
could do that laid on top.
So, yeah,
Check it out.
it was a great idea. And
I mean, why spend 4,500 and then next 5 years do it again? Probably be 5,000 anyhow.
You just gotta make sure that the cracks don't go apart, because you're gonna have to have reinforcement rods all the way through that, David, to make that work.
Yeah, Gary, we
understand that?
understand
Yeah,
that.
you gotta
I
have
poured
rebar,
enough
yeah.
concrete that you wanna put reinforcing rods in there to hold
If you want to do
it.
that, just use the fiber.
That
The
one.
fiber in the concrete.
That helps a lot too, doesn't it?
That
Or you
orange,
just put a reinforcing rod in.
So what we need to do then is we need to get some good solid numbers and figure out where we're at.
Yeah, let's table that.
Todd built those down by the hundreds down in Des Moines. And that's all those new homes.
Yeah.
Everybody's got one,
Everybody's got a tennis court.
pretty much.
And the concrete?
He poured them, yeah.
Well, then I think we should talk to him.
I asked him how, how they're holding up, because I don't know. He's done a lot of them.
When you get the frost, it's
Well,
gonna
he should be the one talking to them. If he's done a lot of that, that would be wise to.
well, we're going to table the, tennis court repair.
Yep.
Until we get some, better numbers put together from Chris. Public forum, Chris?
Can we have the meeting on the 23rd early?
No.
I have a baseball game in Manila that night.
I don't care, I won't
We
be
won't be
here.
here.
We won't be here.
We won't be here.
Who's we?
He's taking me someplace I don't want to.
Taking fishing ground.
And I won't,
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
So we can't have one on the 23rd
I
anyway.
won't be here
How about
because
the next week?
Well, I hope I still get paid.
have it the 30th, I'll be
These
back
guys were
then.
gone. This is my income.
They've done a pretty good job without Ron and I anyway, so.
Yeah, but I won't be here neither.
Shit, then we better wait next week.
I leave the 19th to be gone, I'll come back 26th.
See, you're
That's
saying,
when we come back,
three of us won't be
26.
here, so.
Cause I got a wedding the 27th, the grandson, I gotta be.
You know, Rob and I's backs are really starting to hurt really bad.
Yeah, Terry just had me, can we put you in? Hobby the substitute.
You can go.
I just did a mayor's job. Yeah. That's an easy job to take.
Can we
Have
run
it the
it the week
30th
after,
then, that's the last Monday of the month,
That would be.
29th.
29th, yeah.
That is the 29th.
Will that work for everybody?
Well, for me.
I'll be here
I'll have
then.
a baseball game that night too. If we can do it early, I think it'll be all right.
Yeah.
I just got one other thing to throw in there. I talked to Chris about this earlier, but it kind of a burr up my ass, I guess maybe. But I didn't think much of it until I seen him down to the figure 8 racetrack building that decking deal. And I went up to the park, and nothing's done with that concrete up there. So Chris is going to be talking to Jamie and stuff. But
Albert and I talked about that, but
Well, he,
Yeah, we're doing that there, we're
the
not.
Rydells are having a reunion there July 18th, and I sure as hell hope that thing looks a hell of a lot better than what it is right
he
now.
bitched cause he couldn't put siding on it, it was wet. Well, it's been dry, he could sure as hell back in there now and put the siding on, but it's not
Wow.
being put on.
Yeah, we're spending here and not finishing there, we gotta get that finished there somehow.
Now I feel a little better, so not much.
I would actually like to see us, I think we're about, I don't know, slightly less than $10,000 short of that. I'd like to see us maybe I'm gonna go talk to the committee and see if they will, Chris thinks it's somewhere around 1,000 chunks of sod it'll take. Good guess.
I'd say that'd be a good guess.
Yeah, maybe see if we can do some kind of fundraiser where we sell
Put it loose.
$25.
That's what I'm
We'll tell you what, until we get all that dirt.
It's not quite that.
It's gonna take a while.
Actually, it's a little more than 4 foot, it's about 5 foot by,
No, he'll get it packed.
They're only 20 inches, isn't it, or 21?
Well, we can haul
Anyway, they have some
Yeah.
kind of fundraiser. If we
it's
get
not 2
400
foot, it's not a foot, it's a weird number.
Yeah, it's an odd number.
So it's close to,
What's the square footage per piece, I guess?
it's closer to 10, 12
Per piece.
piece, I think, something like that. I don't know exactly, Ron, but it's in that area.
Well, I think that's right. I mean, you know, they've left out the small person that wants to give maybe.
I think Ron's got a great idea.
Yeah, they just they didn't ever, nobody felt like they could give $25, I don't think.
Yeah, we never approached it that way either.
No.
But
I think that-
you're kind of.
If we finish it, I think we can do it. You know,
We've
if
hit
you find
everybody that-
400 sales of $25 worth of sod. You get
Smiths have already gave it.
Well, you know who's in.
The only one that we haven't got anything from yet, and I know Dawn was working on him, is,
Hey,
Yeah.
I move we
Here.
adjourn.
I'll second that.